You know that sinking feeling when you check your bank account after paying rent, utilities, and groceries and there is basically nothing left, and then your coworker casually mentions their investment portfolio over lunch, and you are sitting there thinking, where do people even find money to invest? You are not alone. Most of us have been taught this backwards idea that investing is something you do after you get rich, when the reality is completely opposite. Investing is actually how regular people build wealth in the first place. But here's the problem. Nobody tells you where to start when you are living paycheck to paycheck. I am Ben, and I've spent years studying personal finance, digging through the strategies that actually work for everyday people, not just the wealthy. I share practical money insights that can genuinely change your financial trajectory. And if you find this valuable, please don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. It really helps me reach more people who need to hear this. Let me introduce you to something I call the Investment Readiness Framework. This isn't about having a ton of money sitting around. It is about creating a financial foundation that makes investing not just possible, but sustainable and stress-free. The core idea is simple. Before you put a single dollar into the market, you need 3 things in place: a cash cushion, debt clarity, and an automatic system. Most people skip straight to picking stocks or funds, then panic and sell everything the moment an unexpected car repair comes up. That is not investing. That is gambling with money you actually need. The Investment Readiness Framework solves this by ensuring your investments can actually stay invested long enough to grow. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. Take Sarah, a 28-year-old graphic designer making about $52,000 a year. She was convinced she couldn't invest because after rent and expenses, she only had maybe $200 left each month. But here is what she did. She started by saving just $1,000 as a mini emergency fund. It took her 5 months, putting away $200 monthly. Then she looked at her debts. She had a credit card with a $200 balance at 19% interest and a car loan at 4%. Instead of trying to invest immediately, she threw that $200 at the credit card for 8 months while keeping her mini emergency fund untouched. Once the credit card was gone, she split her money, $100 building her emergency fund to $3,000, and $100 starting to invest in a simple index fund. Within 18 months of starting this process, Sarah was investing consistently and had a safety net. Fast forward 3 years, her investments are worth over $5,400, and she is still contributing monthly without stress. Now compare that to Marcus, who makes about the same amount. Marcus heard investing was important, so he immediately put $500 into stocks he read about online. 2 months later, his transmission failed. Repair cost, $2,200. He had no emergency fund, so he had to sell his investments at a loss to cover part of it. Then put the rest on a credit card. Not only did he lose money on the investment sale, but now he is paying 22% interest on the credit card balance. A year later, Marcus is further behind than when he started. The difference wasn't income or intelligence, it was the order of operations. Here's another example that really drives this home. Jennifer and Tom are both 35, both earning around $65,000 annually. Jennifer spends 2 months getting her finances organized before investing. She builds a $4,000 emergency fund, pays off her $5,000 credit card debt, and then starts investing $300 monthly into a retirement account and a taxable brokerage account. Tom, eager to catch up on retirement, immediately maxes out contributions, putting $500 monthly into investments while still carrying $5,000 in credit card debt at 18% interest. Let's run the numbers over 10 years. Jennifer pays $900 in interest total while clearing her debt in the first year, then invests $300 monthly for the remaining 9 years. At a 7% average return, she ends up with roughly $38,500. Tom invests more aggressively at $500 monthly for all 10 years. But he is simultaneously paying about $900 annually in credit card interest because he keeps a balance. Over 10 years, that is $9,000 in interest payments. His investments grow to about $86,500, but when you subtract the $9,000 in interest paid, his net gain is $77,500. Meanwhile, Jennifer's net gain is $38,500 from investments. But she also has peace of mind. no debt, and built sustainable habits. More importantly, after year 10, Jennifer can increase her investment rate dramatically since she has no debt payments. While Tom is still trapped in the debt cycle, I know what you are thinking, Ben. I barely have enough to cover my bills. How am I supposed to save $1,000, pay off debt, and invest? I hear you, and this is the most common pushback I get. But here is the thing. This isn't about doing everything at once. The investment readiness framework works in stages specifically because most of us can't handle everything simultaneously. Start with just the mini emergency fund. Even if it takes you 8 months to save $1,000 at $125 per month, that is fine. You are not in a race. The stock market isn't going anywhere. What matters is building a foundation that won't collapse the first time life happens. And about finding that initial money, I am not going to tell you to skip coffee, because that is honestly insulting. Instead, look at your subscriptions. Most people have 3 to 5 they forgot about. That is easily $50 to $100 monthly. Check if you are paying for premium checking account fees when free options exist. That is another $12 to $25 monthly. Call your car insurance and ask about discounts. People save an average of $400 annually by shopping around. These aren't sacrifices. They're inefficiencies. The second concern I hear is about market timing. What if I start investing and the market crashes? This is exactly why the framework starts with emergency funds and debt management. If you have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved and no high-interest debt, a market crash doesn't force you to sell. You can wait it out. Actually, if you are investing monthly through something like dollar cost averaging, market dips mean you are buying more shares at lower prices. The worst time to start investing is when you have no financial cushion, because that is when market volatility can genuinely hurt you. The framework removes that risk. So what do you actually do right now? Let me give you the specific steps. First, open a high-yield savings account separate from your checking account. This is for your emergency fund. Don't use your regular savings account because it is too easy to dip into. Look for accounts offering at least 4% interest. Set up an automatic transfer of whatever amount you can manage, even if it is just $50 per Pascal Yi check until you hit $1,000. This is your financial shock absorber. Second, list every debt you have with its interest rate. Anything above 8% is high interest and should be your priority after you have that mini emergency fund. Make minimum payments on everything, but throw any extra money at the highest interest rate debt. This is called the avalanche method, and it saves you the most money. If you need motivation more than math, use the snowball method instead. Paying off the smallest balance first, then rolling that payment into the next smallest. Either works, just pick one and stick with it. Third, while you are working on debt, educate yourself about investing. You don't need to become a financial expert, but spend 30 minutes a week learning the basics. Understand what an index fund is. Learn the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA. Know what a brokerage account does. By the time you are ready to invest, you won't be intimidated by the process. There are free resources everywhere, library books, reputable financial websites, even YouTube channels focused on beginner investing. Fourth, once your high-interest debt is gone, build your emergency fund to cover 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. This isn't 3 to 6 months of your current spending. It is 3 to 6 months of absolute necessities. Rent, utilities, basic food, insurance, minimum debt payments. For most people, that is somewhere between $5,000 and $15,000. This sounds like a lot, but remember, you are already in the habit of putting money aside from steps 1 and 2. Just redirect what you are paying toward debt into this fund. Fifth, now you are ready to invest. Start with retirement accounts if your employer offers a match. That is literally free money, an instant 50 to 100% return. If there is no match or you've maximized it, open a Roth IRA if you are eligible. For 2026, you can contribute up to $7,000 annually, which breaks down to about $583 monthly or $292 per Pascal Yi check. If you are paid bi-weekly, don't worry if you can't max it out. Contributing anything is better than nothing. Inside these accounts, keep it simple. Choose a target. date fund matching your expected retirement year, or go with a total stock market index fund if you want to be more hands-on. These are low-fee, diversified, and historically reliable. The beauty of this approach is that it is self-reinforcing. Each step makes the next step easier. Your emergency fund means you don't go back into debt when surprises happen. No high-interest debt means more money available to save and invest. Automatic systems mean you don't have to rely on willpower every month. And starting with small amounts means you learn how investing works without risking money you can't afford to lose. Here is what most people get wrong about investing. They think it is about picking the right stock or timing the market perfectly. But wealth building for regular people isn't about being clever. It is about being consistent and protected. The investment readiness framework isn't sexy. Nobody's going to make a viral video about slowly building an emergency fund. But in 5 years, you'll be the person your friends ask for money advice. In 10 years, you'll have a net worth that genuinely surprises you. In 20 years, you might actually achieve that financial freedom everyone talks about, but so few people reach. The system works because it is designed for real life, not for people who already have money. It accounts for emergencies, for debt, for the fact that you are starting from scratch. And it works whether you are 25 or 45, whether you make $35,000 or $85. $dollars a year. The principles scale. So here is my challenge to you. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't wait until you get a raise or pay off your student loans or figure out your entire financial life. Just start with step 1. Open that high-yield savings account this week. Set up a transfer for your next paycheck. That single action puts you ahead of most people who spend years thinking about investing but never actually begin. If this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more practical financial content. Share this with someone who has been wanting to invest but doesn't know where to start. The path to financial security isn't complicated, but it does require that first step. Take it today, and I promise you, your future self will thank you.